choice between going corporate and independent is just based on, what you consider quality of living. So like if you're not a person that minds being told what to do and, sacrificing and, just looking forward to Fridays and, having to ask every time you want to make a move and it has to be profitable, then corporate might be the way for you. If you don't like being told what to do and you like to be able to do things as you're inspired and, where you can show taste and, where, you have the ability to monetize without compromise and you have the ability to be fair with the people you work with and create whatever environment you want, then you're independent and you put up the money, And corporate's model, because usually there is no one person that puts up the money, is usually volume with no margin. So like off $100 million worth of volume and everyone getting paid and salaries and offices being built and, all kind of expense, credit cards and whatever, you don't own nothing, but you're living good. But at the end of the day, with $100 million, you might make $2. If you're independent, off $100 million, you're gonna make about 35, 40. But it's just hard to get to that $100 million because the more demand you have, the more cash you gotta lay out. And that's usually the gift and the curse of being independent, but being successful. The more demand you have, the more cash you have to buy to supply the demand. And you don't make money back until you've bought. You have to be out of pocket, And then sometimes you might buy something and buy goods and put it on the street. And you need to buy more goods, but you haven't collected the money back off the street. So now it's like you got to cop twice without re-up. You have to re-up twice without, getting your money back off the street once. You understand what I'm saying? So, that's what the struggle is with being independent. But again, you have a better margin. You have better taste. You work with who you want to work with. You get to come into work when you feel like it. You can be a boss. And you only want to talk to other bosses, other people that are putting up their own money. And that's a business model for someone that wants to do things independently. It's usually a person that, I don't want to say has ego, but has pride. Someone that likes to enjoy what they do, that doesn't really do it for the dollar. You know what I mean? That's usually what independence is, having passion for something, really loving it. It is personal, it's not just business. When it's independent, it's yours, you're proud of it. You know what I mean? Like independence is priceless. It's just people that have never had it don't even understand. And I don't even expect them to, And independence means usually putting up your own dough. You have to put up your own money. That's independence. If someone else is putting up the money, that's dependence. You understand what I'm saying? Now you gotta move when they say move. You have to ask. You have to be nice. You have to laugh at jokes that aren't funny. You know what I mean? You have to be around a racist and let them say little things, little cute things. A nerd square that wouldn't survive in the street. And independence is like being, let me tell you the perspective of someone that's independent. If there's like a wild dog and he has to literally eat the food he kills, he cannot eat unless he kills something that day. And then there's a dog that's tamed. He lives in a house, but he has 3 square meals a day. He got to do tricks. He gets petted. He gets kicked out. He gets beat. He got to get walked. He walks on a leash. When that dog comes in the room with the wild dog is laughing. He doesn't care that you're in a mansion. He doesn't care that you eat a steak every day. He still thinks you're a herb. He knows he can take from you because he knows he has to kill every day to eat. You know what I mean? And that's a confidence. That's a rock star. And that's the one thing that I know I will never give up. The ability to be that. Like, I laugh at anyone that's a caged dog. Walked on a leash, told when to eat, and does tricks and rolls over for a check.
So as far as, let's take a step back, as far as when you made the choice to start Rockefeller Records and go into the music business altogether, what advice would you give to somebody for making the right choice, career choice? What is like to you, like you were talking to your children or just any youngster that wants to know in the hood, that how does that choice, what do you think is the key to making that choice?
It's understanding how you make your money. Like if you ask a youngster what he wants to do, he'll tell you what he wants to do, but he doesn't know how he makes his money. If you ask a rapper before he actually gets successful, like what he wants to do, he's gonna tell you, I want to be a rapper. Well, how you make your money being a rapper? The average rapper doesn't know. It's from shows and merchandise. They won't know that. But you ask a designer, they're just starting a clothing company, and they don't know what tier of distribution, where's your margin, what's your business model. It's understanding where you make your money, but also understanding how you make your money. You know what I'm saying? Understanding what it means when you go mass, and what volume means, and understanding what it means when you become something that's a destination. And you know, it's not volume, it's just more just opinion leaders. And then how you make money from that. It's just understanding how not to compromise your brand and have longevity and being patient, you know. Like a lot of people aren't built to be entrepreneurs. You know, they get too nervous, they get too scared. The first thing you have to do and understand about being an entrepreneur is you're never gonna hold any money. Because every time you get $1, you buying more stuff, period. You don't hold money, you buy stuff, period. And you know, people that put up money usually don't think they can make it anymore. And they just take what they're given and they save it and get scared and what all, you know. The government incentivizes you to put it back into the street because of capital gains. Either it's 50% if you want to put it up, or it's, you know, like 15, 20% if you want to invest it in something that makes some money a year later. That's the purpose of it. You know what I mean? The government wants you to put your money into your business because it helps the economy. But not many people are built for that. And you have to be broke. You have to. If you're not broke, you're not successful, because that means you have no demand to buy any goods to sell. So you can hold money. But when there's a demand for you, you can't hold no paper because you gotta keep buying. But some people don't want to put up their own dough. Some people are suckers. Some people are scared. Some people think there's security in having a boss, but there's no security in having a boss. And by the way, if you're a boss, that means you can't get fired, and it means you don't have to ask no questions. So like, let's say somebody gives you $100 million to watch for somebody, and now you're acting like it's yours. It's not yours. You're not a boss. You could get fired. You're a supervisor. And that's the frustration an independent will have dealing in the corporate infrastructure, because you got to deal with a bunch of people that never put up their own money, a bunch of supervisors fronting like bosses, and then they talk to you like they're a boss, and that aggravates a boss. Trust me when I tell you. The boss is always the person that puts up the money, period. If the person's not putting up the money, he's not the boss. Don't let him front like the boss. Don't ever let anybody say they're the boss if they're putting up the money, if they're not putting up the money. I don't care. I don't care how big the corporation is that's backing you. If it's not your money, you're not the boss. You may be happy watching. So you ever see, it cracks me up when I see people so happy taking pictures of other people's stuff, like they be on jets and they be on Instagram. It's like, it's not theirs. I don't understand that. You understand what I'm saying? A house is like, yo, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? And be like, it's not yours. And that's what not putting up your money is. It's not yours.
People, I'm disgruntled, like wanting to know why I can't take you on as a client right now, and what am I doing, and blah blah blah. Listen, I'm getting my shit together. Be wary of the naked man who offers you a shirt. What that means is it can be dangerous, even foolish, to heed the counsel of people who do not follow their own advice. I'm getting my shit together. Genuinely, I am. The wintertime is a rough time for me. It's like the parable of the overflow. You want to stay full. You want to know when to charge up. You want to keep your cup full. And what overflows is to be shared. So what overflows from my cup, I share with you all freely. But what's inside the cup, that is mine. That belongs to me. And it's very foolish for us to believe that we are doing the world some favor by giving away the things that we need. And right now, I need what's in my cup.
Is it possible to have mind over matter? Baby, the brain is king. The body is the kingdom. Yes. How long will that take to happen? Long enough for it to be the mainstay of your personality. To our very brain, those great thunderstorms, we have tapped yet let a third of its ability. If we lived entirely the wholeness of our brain, which would require the wholeness of our DNA be activated, we would become the legends of old, the immortals.
I really believe that the body wants to heal itself, and the limits are in our own minds of what we believe is possible. I think so much more is possible than we appreciate.
Everyone's DNA, they use less than a third of the DNA. Did you know that there are immortal genes? Did you know that you have immortal DNAs? Did you know that you have the DNA to grow any part of your body, to change it any way you want to? Did you know you have the DNA of humanity? Did you know that you can turn a predisposition of genetics of blindness into a predisposition of sight? Did you know that you can tap your DNA to not only make you immortal, but reverse your aging? Do your genes have that? Yes, they do. It's what gene fingerprinting is all about in its infantile stages. But it's embarrassing when we really know it. Because the great question is, well, if I have an immortal gene, how come I'm not immortal? Why in the f is it still there? You can edit that out. You can leave it in according to the maturity of the audience. But I'm certain I have said nothing new under the sun, Horatio. You know why? Because you focus only on your emotional means to an end. So your DNA holds what is replicant in you to an experience. You have never gone outside of yourself to create the experience of yourself. If we know the thoughts of a person, we will best know them by their addiction, their continuous, over 24 hours, in a continuum of what emotions they display in their body, we shall know their thoughts.
I hate you.
We never, ever reincarnate to the I love you so much people. We always reincarnate to the situation.
Men and women alike who are recovering from heartache, so I'm gonna tell you what I know. Nothing shakes your body like what you want not wanting you for whatsoever reason. But nothing quakes your soul like when the rejection comes from someone that you believe to be a friend. Listen, the dichotomy of crushes is that they will sometimes leave you crushed. I cannot count the amount of times that I've shed my skin trying to get someone to see my soul. But this is what I'm learning, and I'm still in the thick of it. But the more healthier I become in my mind and in my spirit, the less attracted I am to situations and peoples and things that bring me pain. We must learn that first we have to come to terms with the fact that they weren't honest with you, they lied. And then you have to come to the realization that their lack of integrity is not your character flaw, and you don't have to own it. If you want to boss up on a motherfucker for real, if you're ready to heal for real, you gotta go where the love is. And I pray that that journey takes you deep inside of yourself. And I hope this helps.
And so, as I get ready to wrap this up, let me ask you another question. Ask it in the quietness of your own mind, and answer it in the quietness of your own mind. How do you see yourself? 8. How do you feel about yourself? Never go to sleep at night unless you're sure that you do some mental practice to ascertain that you feel right about yourself. Before you go to sleep, and this is the way I pray, you see. When you pray correctly, it means to invoke. We call it invocation. It means to invoke the feeling of that good which you desire within your own mind. Before you go to sleep, invoke the feeling of health. Ask yourself, how do I feel about my health? And simply say to yourself, I feel healthy. Even if you have a terrific headache, leave that conscious area of mind and go to the transliminal area of mind, to that place where God dwells in you, because at that place there is no sickness. You see, there is a place in your mind, there is a place in your being where you are all right. And this is the mystic meaning of one of the old black spirituals. Everything is all right in my Father's house. But this Father's house is a place in you. It's not just simply a place in the sky by and by. The Father's house is in you, and you can go to that place in your mind. And each evening, before you go to sleep, be sure that you ask yourself, how do I feel about myself? And invoke a healthy feeling about yourself. And say to yourself, I feel healthy. I feel happy. Think about the happy moments that you've had. I feel loving and beloved. Think of the people with whom you have a loving experience. Say to yourself, I feel successful and prosperous. There's a gentleman by the name of Clement Stone, who's a multi-millionaire. He is president and founder of large insurance companies. And he does a very seemingly silly little thing every day and has all of his sales staff to do it with him. In his sales seminars and motivation seminars, he has people to say, I feel great, I feel terrific. And as a matter of fact, grown man that he is, multi-millionaire, with all of the educated and sophisticated people in his organization, when he goes to a motivation meeting, he has them all to sing that little Sunday school song, I feel the joy, joy, joy down in my heart. Why? The secret is this. A happy person must be successful. A happy person will be healthy. And here again, we have the counterpart of the meaning in the Bible. What does it say? The joy of the Lord is your strength. Say that scripture with me. Come on. The joy of the Lord is your strength. And again, another psychological interpretation from the Bible. And by the way, now I interpret the Bible psychologically more than I do theologically. The Israelites were told, let not the sun go down on your wrath. This means that you should never fall asleep in an angry state of mind. You should never fall asleep with unforgiveness in your heart. You should never fall asleep feeling discouraged. I preached a sermon at the church in New York a few months ago, and I told the people this. I said, when you sleep on two beds. You don't sleep on one bed. You sleep on that physical bed that you lie down on. And you also sleep on a mental bed, a psychological bed. And before you go to sleep, you should prepare your psychological bed. You should prepare your emotional bed. Because you see, while you are sleeping, the feelings, the thoughts, the moods and attitudes which are impressed upon your subconscious mind are free in the universal subconscious to go out and to contact all of those people that match your moods. Go to sleep angry, you are asking to meet people the next day that are going to try to do you a dirty deal. Because all of that anger is loose in the universal subconscious and will draw to you that which is like unto your thoughts, moods, and attitudes. So clear your mind, feel right with yourself, be right with yourself before you fall asleep. The next little technique that I'm going to give you is a technique for waking up in the morning. When I wake up in the morning, the first thing that I do is push myself up in bed and I begin to speak my word to bless the day ahead of me. And I like that old song. This is the day which the Lord hath made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Forgive me if I begin to preach. I am a preacher, you know. So say with me this beautiful psalm. This is the day which the Lord hath made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. And say beautiful things. I feel strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Because the Bible does say, my word that goes forth out of my mouth shall not return unto me void, but it shall prosper in the thing whereunto I send it. And this is not a big God in the sky that's speaking, you know. God speaks through you. God speaks in you. The words that go forth out of your mouth will not return unto you void. Let me take a moment more of your time to give you an example of this. was walking down the streets of Miami one Sunday morning, hoping no one would recognize me, but a young man came up beside me and he was looking at his hand and looking at me. So finally he said, "Excuse me, sir, are you Reverend Ike?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Reverend, everything that I have tried does not work. I got in a lot of debt," he said, "in New York, and I tried to work my way out of debt, but I couldn't. I just could not succeed no matter what I tried. And I came to Miami to try to work, to become successful, and to pay off my debts. But Reverend, no matter what I do, I can't succeed. Why?" I looked at him and I said, "Son, you just told the reason yourself. You just answered your own question. You said, 'I can't.' And it is a good thing to watch your words. Never say anything that you don't want to experience. Like, for example, I've taught people how to have a good relationship with money. Last Friday night at the church in New York, I spoke from the subject, the romance of money. Because, you know, money has ears. I found out some things about money that most people don't know. And I'll tell you something else I found out about money. Money is a woman. Not only is money a woman, money is a high-class lady. And if you say dirty things about her, she will not have anything to do with you. This is why I teach people, never say, "I can't hold money." Money hears that, you see, because again, money is a subconscious vibration. When you say, "I can't hold money," that's a signal to money. I'm going to stay away from him or her. And then if for some reason or the other you have a religious belief that money is dirty, money is filthy, that money is evil, money stays away from you because money is insulted about what you think about her. The other day, my editorial department sent me a very choice quotation, an old Irish proverb, which says thus: "Money hath sworn an oath that nobody who did not love her would ever have her." So be careful what you say. The words that go forth out of your mouth affect your circumstances and your conditions. Now, I must rush along and come to a close here. For a moment, I want to mention self-motivation. Now, what does self-motivation mean? Self-motivation means self-moving. Say that with me, self-moving. Come on, self-move. Make some kind of a moving movement so that you feel it. Come on, self-moving. And a person who is self-motivated is a self-mover. And by the way, I'm going to use, as I wind this up, one of the techniques of affirmation that I use in all of my speeches, the technique of affirmation. Will you feel and will you say with me, "I am a self-mover"? Come on. I am a self-mover. And you see, this is the way you should think, and this is the way you should live. You should approach life. You should approach the goals, the good which you desire to accomplish, like you have, quote, a tiger in your tank, unquote, and become a self-mover. I think it was Henry Wadsworth Longfellow in the Psalm of Life who says, "Be not like dumb-driven cattle." And you see, if we do not learn how to move ourselves, then others will control us. But if you learn how to move yourself, then nobody else will get a chance to control you. Self-mastery has to do with a person understanding that the Almighty Infinite God has given it to him to be master of his own fate and captain of his own soul. And when you become your own master, then no one else can enslave you. In the one God, everyone is God of his own experience. But you must believe in that power of God, that power of good, which resides within you. And when you believe in yourself positively and correctly, believe that you can talk, and do, can do, and then you'll be what you want to be, do what you want to do, and have what you want to have. Thank you very much.
Authenticity is very high up on my list of life priorities. Hence the reason I bask in transparency. It not only keeps me humble, it keeps me honest. It is also the reason that I've been mourning the loss of love of someone who was a very dear friend to me. Creation has forced me to deal with the lack of divinity in his identity, and that's been a very harsh reality. The dichotomy of that is people who misrepresent themselves will often try to make you feel like you're doing something wrong by holding them accountable. That's not true, and don't let them mind fuck you. When you are who you say you be, you never feel like anybody's trying to make you be who you say you are. I have never encountered a king or a queen that had to be forced to wear their crown. See, this royal shit is not for thrills and kicks. Many of us live it. It's when your spirituality meets your lifestyle. If you're not real already, just don't fuck with it. Happy Saturday, and I hope this helps.
I didn't get into this business by being an airhead or a screwball. My attitude was always, if it's real, it can take the pressure. You know, you don't have to pussyfoot around the real thing. If they're telling you, you know, oh, you must lower your voice and avert your gaze or this and that, then you're probably in the presence of crap. Because the real thing is real. It doesn't demand that you adjust your opinion to suit it. It's real. That means it is preeminent. That means it sets the agenda. And I studied yoga. I wandered around in the East. I was fast shuffled by beady-eyed little men in dhotis. I know the whole spiritual supermarket and rigmarole, and I find nothing there to interest me on the level of, you know, 5 grams of psilocybin mushrooms in silent darkness. I mean, that's where the pedal meets the metal. That's where the rubber meets the road. And the inspiration for me to get up and talk to an audience like this simply comes from the fact that I cannot believe that this could be kept under wraps the way it has. I mean, I kidded with you earlier that they would make sex illegal if they could. Well, they can't, so it isn't. But the psychedelic experience is as central to understanding your humanness as having sex, or having a child, or having responsibilities, or having hopes and dreams, and yet it is illegal. We are somehow told we are infantilized. We're told, you know, you can wander around within the sanctioned playpen of ordinary consciousness, and we have some intoxicants over here if you want to mess yourself up. We've got some scotch here and some tobacco and red meat and some sugar and a little TV and so forth and so on. But these boundary-dissolving hallucinogens that give you a sense of unity with your fellow man and nature are somehow forbidden. This is an outrage. It's a sign of cultural immaturity, and the fact that we tolerate it is a sign that we are living in a society as oppressed as any society in the past. My thing is not about my opinion or what I saw in Africa or anything like that. This is, get it straight, this is about an experience, not my experience, your experience. It's about an experience which you have, like getting laid or like going to Africa. You must do the experience. Otherwise, It's just whistling past the graveyard. And we're not talking about something like being born again or meeting the flying saucers or something like that, where good works and prayer are the method. No, if you take a sufficient dose of an active compound, it will deliver itself to you on the money. If it doesn't work, take more. Nobody is in a position to dismiss this just because it didn't work for them on one or two tries. This is an art. It's an art. It's something you coax into existence. I mean, you have to learn to make love. You have to learn to speak English. Anything worth doing is an art that is acquired. This is part of our birthright, perhaps the most important part of our birthright. These substances will deliver. It is the confoundment of psychology and science generally, and that's why it's so touchy for cultural institutions. But you are not a cultural institution. You are a free and independent human being, and these things have your name written on them in big gold letters. Yes, here. The way I think of these psychedelics, or a different way, is that they're catalysts for the imagination. Catalysts to say what has never been said, to see what has never been seen, to draw, paint, sing, sculpt, dance, and act what has never before been done, to push the envelope of creativity and language. And what's really important is, I call it the felt presence of direct experience, which is a fancy term which just simply means we have to stop consuming our culture. We have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR. Create your own road show. The nexus of space and time where you are now is the most immediate sector of your universe. And if you're worrying about Michael Jackson or Bill Clinton or somebody else, then you are disempowered. You're giving it all away to icons. Icons which are maintained by an electronic media, so that you want to dress like X or have lips like Y or something. This is shit-brained, this kind of thinking. That is all cultural diversion, and what is real is you and your friends and your associations, your highs, your orgasms, your hopes, your plans, your fears. And we're told, no, we're unimportant, we're peripheral, get a degree, get a job, get a this, get a that, and then you're a player. You don't even want to play in that game. You want to reclaim your mind and get it out of the hands of the cultural engineers who want to turn you into a half-baked moron consuming all this trash that's being manufactured out of the bones of a dying world. Where is that at? Yeah, over here.